Here I have finished this section of color work, which is this little section in the sock, and I am ready to begin the toe area. At this point, the instructions say to cut the main color yarn. For my sample, it is the white one. I am just going to cut it and leave about 5-6 inches so that I can weave in. The next section, it says to pick up the contrasting color yarn and finish knitting all the way to the end. So I am at peg 19, knit from peg 19 all the way around. I have reached peg 1, and now it says to knit 1 round. So go ahead and knit 1 round with the contrasting color yarn. At this point, we are going to continue knitting the little toe area. This section is done exactly like the heel, so we're going to follow the same exact instructions as we did for the heel. The only thing that you need to remember was that for the heel we worked on the first 14 stitches, so the first 14 pegs. I still have those stitch markers on those 14 that are marking the first peg, the original first peg, and the original 14th peg. So my heel, my toe, is going to go from the first peg with the original stitch marker over to the 14th peg that had the original stitch markers. So we're going again now back to our original first peg and last peg. So for the heel, I'm going to take my working yarn over to the first peg and knit 13 stitches all the way around, and begin my heel on those 14 pegs. I have finished creating the toe following the same instructions as I did for the heel. Therefore, if you remember from the heel, we have 2 wraps on peg 28 and 2 wraps on peg 15. That was to avoid the hole created by the wrapping and turning. Now, since we need to remove this from the knitting loom, we cannot have those 2 loops on those 2 pegs. At this point, simply lift the bottom over the top. The same on peg 15. Perfect. And now we are ready to remove the stitches. We are going to cut the yarn, leaving about 15 to 20 inches of working yarn. Okay, now we're going to go to peg 14. That's the peg with one of the stitch markers. The loop off the peg. Place it on the knitting needle, then peg 13, knitting needle. All you are doing is just placing the stitches on the knitting needle. That's the first step. Next stitch, Next one. Perfect. Oh, then this one. There we go. The one in the corner. Nice. Going all the way around to peg 1. We're placing half of the stitches on one needle. Right. And make sure that you don't drop them like I just did. Perfect. Next one. Nice. 3 more on this needle. Last one. Pick it up, place it on the needle, and I have 14 stitches on this needle. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Now I'm going to turn it about, and I need to place the remaining 14 stitches on the other second needle. I'm going to go to peg 28, place it on the needle, 27. I don't know if you can see the placement of these stitches. There we go. I'm grabbing it, placing it on the needle. Next one, taking it off, needle, take it off, needle, turn it. Next one on the needle. Next one. Slide the stitches down so they don't fall off. Next one. More. Two more. Take it off, place it on the needle, and last one, taking it off and placing it on the knitting needle. Perfect. Now we have all the stitches on the 2 needles. So here is our sock. Stretch it out to set the stitches. There's our little square right here, just like on another little sock. Perfect. Now we're going to close the toe section, and we're going to use the Kitchener stitch. The working yarn is on this side. You are going to thread the tapestry needle through, or a large eye needle, whichever one you have. And there we go.